Hello, I'm Sinashi.
I'm GrannyKA
Yeah, and
and
so
Muffin.
then there's a Muffin. Hi, Muffin. Anyway, so a lot of tabletop RPG YouTubers have been doing the review of the 44 terrible rules that some player posted on Reddit that their DM sent. But then it turned out in a huge plot twist that this DM was stepped on one too many times and not in a good way. the the OP of these rules on Reddit had apparently bragged about how they and the rest of the players at their table had broken this DM so many times. So, knowing that, we are going to take a look at these and see exactly which ones would definitely stir a controversy and which ones I could, kind of agree with.
Hmm.
We could kind of agree with, and GK here is here to hold me accountable.
Sure.
Because as a DM, as a game master, I have pulled some stuff.
Yeah. And I'm more player than I am DM. Even
Yeah,
though I've
but
done a couple, but
yeah.
not really.
All right, so let's start off. The first one is I'm timing turns. You get 1 minutes to know what you want to do, or I'm skipping your turn.
Which, now, I'm assuming that means 1 minute as soon as it's your turn? Because you should already be thinking about what your turn is while your other players are playing.
Yeah, that's what I would also be doing. Is I would be thinking of what I'm going to do.
Yeah. That one's, I
I
mean,
remember when
hmm,
I think it was Rappanathuk where I did try to time you guys.
yeah.
What was it, like 30 seconds? I think I made it.
I don't remember if it was Rapanathuk, but I do remember there was one where it's like, hey, you have this whole time to think about what when your turn is. It's like, why are you not ready to go? Because it seemed like right then is when they were trying to read their spells.
Yeah,
It's like, why did you wait to read what your spell does now and not like 3 turns ago?
yeah. So you see, I mean, new players I could kind of understand not implementing
Yeah.
a turn limit or a time limit on on their turns.
Yeah.
But if I were to again run another campaign where I was gonna time turns and I knew that again it would be a bunch of veterans,
Yeah.
like if it was you, L, Strax, Alec,
Yeah.
then I would probably time because you guys
You also
should.
have to factor in why is it taking longer than a minute to make your decision?
That too.
Because I think 9 times out of 10, the only reason why it would take you slightly longer than a few seconds to realize what you were doing is if you had a plan in your head, which has happened to me a couple of times that I've been playing, where it's like, oh, as soon as it's my turn, I'm going to flank with this character and attack the opponent, and then somebody moves into the slot I was going to do. Or, well, I can't use that spell anymore because someone is now in my cone. So it's like, yeah, this is going to take me a lot longer to figure out what I'm supposed to do. But the only other time that you would be taking longer is because you weren't paying attention to the combat and you're like, oh, it's my turn. So what are we doing?
Yeah, that would be. So I can kind of get it that this DM kind of wants to speed things up
Yeah.
and, make sure that no time is wasted.
Plus, wasn't this DM like paid? Or
I
did
don't think so. I think it was a
this
free
was a fun
DM,
one?
which makes it even,
Okay.
I think if they were paid, then they would, not mind
Not
because,
kind as much as I'm still
yeah,
getting paid regardless of what you
yeah,
people do.
but when someone is donating their time,
Mm.
that's terrible. Donating their time,
Yeah.
then that's terrible. But anyway, let's
Yeah.
go on to number two.
Yep.
If you want harder fights, bring a second character sheet and expect to twiddle your thumbs when you die. I'm not going to baby anyone anymore. I, eh,
You don't really do the TPK. Like,
I try
even
not to.
you try not to.
Yeah, unlike
TPKs
today's
have,
session.
yeah, I was gonna say, I mean, TPKs do happen, but you always try to figure out ways to, I wouldn't say retcon it, but I mean, if we know going in it's going to be a you might die like Rapanathuk. I mean, I think that one that we did with Josie, we had like what, 5 character sheets at the ready
Yeah, I
because
think
we
I told
knew
you
we were
guys to
going to
prepare 5
be.
character sheets, and then eventually we just decided to like Dark Souls it, where the encounter that you guys all died on just held your loot hostage until you could beat it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, yeah, I try not to TPK people, and I do try to make decently challenging fights, but I don't try to be bring a second character sheet difficult.
No.
I don't like that.
I think you need to know ahead of time. It's like, hey, I do plan on if you dead, you dead. You're going to have a backup plan, and I'm not going to sit here for 20 minutes having you re-roll a character sheet. It's like have one, at the ready so that we can continue
Yeah.
going as soon as you can.
And plus, I mean, my fights, I tend to do a curve of difficulty where early game tends to be really difficult, and then as an award for everyone sticking around for the campaign, I tend to make fights easier as the campaign goes on because not only is that how my
We've
that's
grown attached.
yeah, I've grown attached, but not only that, but it's because again, it's the award.
Yeah.
I don't like I don't like difficulty that's stagnant. I like dynamic difficulty where I get rewarded for going through the early game by having an easier late game.
Yeah.
Like that's my reward. Uh but no, I don't try to make too difficult of fights. And I also don't try to, I don't try to TPK. It happens still, but I don't try to.
Yeah.
Let's see. So I'm guessing that the players kept complaining about how fights were too easy, so the DM decided, hey, you know what? Kitty gloves off.
Yeah.
Number 3, if you call me or my rules, that's supposed to say rules, not rolls.
Oh, is it supposed to
Rules,
say rules?
yes,
Okay.
or rules unfair, I'll get up and go home. If you got a ride with me, you can find your own way back.
And it is supposed to be rules?
Rules, yes. I don't
Okay,
know why it
'cause
says rolls.
well, because I say rolls as in maybe he was doing whisper rolls, and they're like, "Oh, come on, you critted, come on, that can't be
I think
right."
yeah, it's supposed to be. If I remember the original screenshot, the problem is that,
It was blurry.
eh,
Yeah. Okay, so if it is supposed to be rules, I've always had the impression of there is, like everyone says, rye versus raw.
mm-hmm.
And it says right in the player's book, the DM has, it's to the GM's discretion.
Yes.
And that's always the thing. It's like there's always the players that want to be rules lawyers, and
I am one.
yeah.
I am.
And there's a difference between a rules lawyer because you want to explain a rule that, they may not be aware of, versus that's not how it is, and it's hindering your party by mentioning the rule.
Yeah.
Like, maybe the DM is just trying to salvage your partner or salvage your players.
Or
So maybe
sometimes.
shut the frick up.
Yeah. Or sometimes I just like the rule of cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, no. I mean this is just kind of petty to me.
Yeah.
Like I kind of get maybe this happened.
And especially, again, knowing the backstory, the whole you can get a ride if if I was the one that was your ride, it's like, yeah, maybe don't, bite the hand that fed you,
Yeah.
you know?
Don't bite the hand that drove you.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Now, number 4.
Yeah.
I'm going to take away your character's loot as regularly as you want it. Yeah. Not you guys. You guys haven't really done this to me, but there was a group that I ran a game for that I told them going in that, hey, my world doesn't have a lot of magical items.
Mm.
And to make up for it, I automatically progress your power so you can keep ahead of your curve. Or
Yeah.
you can you can maintain par for the course. And they complained. And they're like, well, it's not fun if there's no loot. Okay, then go. Like, leave.
Yeah. I mean, there's times where you may not specifically say that there is loot, but we've learned that it's like, well, if they shot us with crossbows, that means there was crossbows worth looting.
Yeah,
Like
I kind
sometimes you
of.
have to use your own contacts and be like, hey, if they shot you with crossbows, that means there be ammo. Like they
Mm-hmm.
probably have, bolts on them. They probably would have some, some sort of shit. Now it might not be loot like you're going to find trying to think
A
of something.
super
A,
legendary
a
axe.
super gem that is going to be the solution to the puzzle on a random bandit fight. Like, no. Like the best loot that you might get from that would be their personal belongings, but
Yeah,
instead,
that's usually what I
don't
do.
expect magical belongings. I mean, yeah, if you're in the bottom of a cave that was suggested to be very highly guarded by magic, yeah, that's where your magical loot would probably be hiding.
Yeah.
Or, you ran into a god. But
Yeah.
don't expect, all bandits are going to have some sort of magic thing or masterwork thing or.
Yeah, I remember in our in the Bar campaign, I think one of the best things you guys ever did was, and one of my favorite things you guys did
Faraday?
was no, not no, this is Bar,
Oh,
not the
Isebar.
modern day, but
Right.
you guys killed a bunch of soldiers and then took their technologically superior weapons and then just started handing them out to each other and all NPCs that you ran into that were on your side.
Yeah.
I was like, that's cool. That's what you do right there. That's the loot.
Yeah.
The loot is what you can take away from the combat. Uh, but yeah, let's go to number 5
Yeah.
because, like I said, I don't like making I don't like have being forced to make loot just for people to keep up, and I
Yeah.
don't like having to constantly
And you shouldn't
browse.
have to take loot either, unless that's just like it's going to break or something. I don't
Mm-hmm.
understand what the taking the loot away would be other than just
I think it would just be
breaking.
yeah,
Or, you got it raided, while you all were asleep and oh no, the people completely are gone and no, you can't make any checks to find them. But
yeah, that would suck.
yeah.
If you don't act out any of your social checks, you fail even before you roll. And you fail because you aren't putting in any effort.
I kind of have like trigger on this one because I am one of the ones that has a weak improvisational skills when it comes to our party.
Yeah.
I am also, well, now it's not a very good example, but I am kind of more introverted than I am extroverted, especially when it comes to social groups. So it's like
Mm,
I don't know sometimes what should be said in a social check. And sometimes I do kind of like when one of the other players in our group says, say this. And I'm like, okay, this is what I said. This is what I wanted to say. I just didn't get the words out.
yeah.
And then I'll roll because sometimes my character has better charisma depending on what I built. And how do I want to put it? There are checks that you as a player don't have to do in real life. Why is it the social one is the one that you have to actually act out?
I think it's because it's a skill that you can reasonably build up in real life.
True.
You get, especially if you are a participant of society in some way, such as, a corporation or whatever,
Yeah. I mean,
you do train that social skill. And
yeah.
now the improvisational thing, yeah, that's the thing, but I it's all about the practice.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, my social skills are a lot better in the PvP than when we do our live action ones.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's not like I'm not gonna just say I roll diplomacy. I do try to do something to justify my role. Which
Yeah.
that sounds like whoever it was is like, I rolled deception.
Yeah.
Okay, what did you
I will
say?
say,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I will say I also do hold different expectations and standards depending on the experience of the player. Like for example, Star, they are completely brand new
Yeah.
to tabletop RPGs. I will try to prompt them to act out the social checks, but if they don't feel like it because they do not have the confidence, I will try to encourage the confidence first.
Yeah.
Failing that, then we'll just default to, okay, make a roll.
It also doesn't help that like players like me, it's like I never really played like Fallout or Baldur's Gate before going into D&D. So I never really understood like what options there could be to say. Because again, I just don't have that improv.
Yeah, it's whatever you want to say.
I know, but I'm just saying it's like thinking of what you would say in that certain situation because it's like, you know, if you say the wrong thing, it's like you let your whole party down and you get that anxiety and it's like, oh,
Yeah.
it's like, can I just roll?
Yeah, you gotta get out of your own way when it comes to doing the
Yeah.
social checks. Act out your social checks. It might be fun.
Yeah.
Give it a try.
But I wonder if it's like actually acted out or if you just say, this is what I'm going to say. Or did he want voice acting
I'm
act out?
assuming the DM at least wanted them to state what they were going to say.
Okay. Because that's two different, like, where was the line of what's considered acting it out? Because if it's
I
like,
consider acting out the baseline
yeah, okay.
is you talk to the NPC.
Okay.
That's, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, again, this is one where I would have different standards depending on the player, especially if I know them from playing with them for a long period of
Yeah.
time. Alec, for example, I know he doesn't really do social stuff, so
Yeah.
even though he is a veteran player, I know
It's kind of
him.
funny though. It's like Alec and I are kind of in the same basis of being racist when we talk.
You guys called your fish, yeah,
Fish boy,
fish boy and
monkey
tin
boy.
can, monkey boy now. Why? Why are you continuing it?
I don't know, but we do.
Why are you both like this?
I don't know. Anyways,
Anyway,
we
but
got
yeah,
like 44 of these. Let's
no,
okay.
we can go as long as we want. I don't
Fair
care.
enough.
But no, it really is just different standards.
Yeah.
Now, number 6. If you don't pick up cues for side quests, that's not my problem, and I totally agree. There are so many side quests. If you can throw them in the player's lap, and if they don't pick up on what they should be doing and where they should go, and they choose to ignore that side quest, that's all on them.
Yeah.
You did what you could as a game master.
Yeah. I mean, we had the one campaign where you listed like a multiple choice question where it's like, this is the wanted poster of all the side quests that I can give you, or you can go in your own direction.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, yeah, that was kind of fun.
Yeah. It was kind of fun. It was fun for me to explicitly spell out,
And then,
hey, these are your options for adventure.
and then of course, counterpoint, somebody tries to beeline to the end game and then wonders why they're being, one-shotted by the boss. They're like, gee, if you took the time to grab some experience and didn't try to go to the end game by, the third session, you might have had a better chance.
I
Still
almost
defeated
won.
God.
I almost won. Only your narrative tomfoolery prevented me from celebrating my victory.
Yeah, the longest combat was the 20 minutes with a puzzle.
Yep.
And of course,
Everything
for
else was solved with punches.
those who ever watched this, I'm referring to one of the campaigns that I ran.
Yep. And unfortunately, I was there. And I'm a munchkin, which makes me bad.
Yeah.
But no, side quests, I do try to throw you guys side quests and obvious tells about them.
Yeah.
If you move to a square in combat, you lock in that movement. Again, I think that's just trying to speed stuff along. I mean,
Yes.
this is chess rules.
The only time that I've ever like undid a move is there are times where somebody will point out to me that said, it's better if you had moved over there or something like that. Usually I locked in what move I made, but everyone else is like telling me that wasn't a good spot. Or we play digitally and sometimes I'll move to a certain spot because my game hasn't loaded yet. And they're like, well, why are you in that space? I'm like, well, I'm fighting this person. And they're like, well, that person's dead. I'm like, well, on my screen, he's still at full health. So I didn't know that. That's the only time
the desync.
I really, yeah, only with the desync do I ever move the tiles. Other than that, I think we lock it in with the exception of oh, hey, if you wanted to do that move, it's actually better to be here for that. Because you're about to do a cone
Yeah.
or, an area of effect spell.
And I try to adhere to that rule as well, where if I move to a square, I lock it in.
Yeah. Again, the only time I think I ever not stay where I'm at is if somebody tells me, oh, hey, your screen desynced, you might want to refresh before you decide
Yeah.
that's where you want to be.
And on top of that, sometimes depending on the game, I might lock in my actions as well. With Pathfinder 2nd Edition, for example, sometimes I might say, even as a game master, I might say that the NPC moves somewhere and then attacks this person twice.
Hmm.
I will usually lock in those actions.
Yeah.
Recently, I've gotten to the point where I say, "Hey, I don't have to do this second attack, and I can have them do something else if you want." But you all have been quite honorable and
Yeah.
have adhered to my locking in of the choice. So,
Yeah.
it's honorable. Yeah. You tell every single person what you're doing before you do it. Don't execute your plan before informing everyone of it. This is
Huh?
just, it's communication, you know? Basically, you're trying to inform your party what
Yeah.
your intent is and what your plan is.
I
So I'm
I
assuming
kind of want
that,
to know the story behind this rule before I make judgment on the actual rule, because there are times where you're trying to be a little bit more sneakily doing something and you don't really want the rest of your party to know because it's like not there's knowledge and power, and it's like you don't want them to fall victim if your plan went poorly.
mm-hmm.
But at the same time, if you're about to cast fireball, all of your other players are going to say, please no.
Yeah.
So I'm
Yeah,
just
I've done that before. I
I'm
have been the fireball sender.
didn't you also tell me about a campaign that you were a player of where you opened a door to a flooded bulls,
Huh?
like a stampede of bulls or something?
No.
I thought it was like a flood or I forget.
No, it was no, but I have been someone who tried to shoot a fireball past a teammate in
Mm,
order to hit a crowd that was on the other side of said teammate, but I just barely missed the attack roll to do so.
mm,
And then everyone but me died.
yeah.
Somehow.
And yet you still learn to continually throw fireballs even as a DM. Hmm.
As a game master, I sometimes do two fireballs at once.
At crits. Uh-huh. This is why you're never allowed to be a player. You're just too evil.
Oh yeah, don't. I mean, I
But
told you my plan in case my current character
yeah.
dies, which is very,
Yeah, I know.
yeah.
But
But no, I get this. This is probably trying to keep everything honest and,
yeah.
communicative. I will give out exhaustion more frequently.
We don't really do exhaustion on our place.
No, we don't.
It's kind of a useless stat that I don't like to keep track of.
The thing is, I get it because exhaustion is meant to hinder your character
Mm,
in some ways, but at the same time, I tend to make things where you guys don't have to be hindered terribly.
yeah.
So,
Yeah.
this one's a whatever for me.
Yeah.
Every snide comment you make to an NPC will have consequences. Yeah, that I can get. Sometimes the players just think their characters can roam the countryside, insulting everybody, and eventually, nothing happens. Absolutely nothing happens. So
Yeah.
I totally agree with this one. Have an NPC have some consequences.
Yeah. I do believe that. It's like, what'd you just say, punk? It's like,
Mm-hmm.
try to roll to, see if they actually heard you, but yeah, no, it's like you said something, it's like it's gonna come back and that's gonna end up in a bar fight.
Yep. 11. You will not be given a mega dungeon in every session. Reconsider your expectations for the verisimilitude of the architecture.
Words. That's the big.
I reworded some of these to make them
Okay.
shorter, but
Okay.
basically what the original post was saying
Mm,
is that some places don't have mega dungeons.
yeah.
Don't expect them all the time, depending on where you go.
Yeah, I know with our group, they can get trigger happy
Yeah.
where it's like if you have too many non-combat sessions in a row, they will try to find their own combat after a while. And then
Mm-hmm.
we've had some campaigns where you go almost no combat. But then you have Rapanathuk that makes up for it.
Yeah.
Like you want Mega
Like that's a
Dungeon?
mega dungeon, yeah.
Go find somebody that's running Rapanathuk.
And I get that. I mean, the player. I don't know why players want mega dungeons every single session.
No, it's like you're
That should.
just play a video game if
Yeah.
that's what you want. It's like video games with friends. Like,
There's
yeah,
so many of
yeah,
those.
there are so many of those. It's like that's not how
Like this is.
RPGs work.
Yeah. Th-
TTRPGs.
yeah. This is
Hell,
everyone.
even that's not how RPGs work. Even in video games. I mean, look at Pokemon. It's like yeah, you're battling, but you're not doing the puzzles or the dungeons except for a couple of the caves.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
I think this is more of a managing expectations and what the players
yeah.
expect from a campaign.
Which that's also up to the DM to say, hey, before we even run this campaign, I want you to be aware this is how I run it.
Yeah. Although sometimes it doesn't, like with that one group, sometimes it just doesn't work.
Yeah. They don't listen, they just assume that it's like, oh, okay. It's like, did you actually listen to what I told you that
It's
is going to
like,
be running?
did you comprehend
Yeah.
what I was telling you when I said that this is an open world with very little magic? It's an exploration campaign,
Mm.
and that you will not have to worry about loot.
Yeah.
No, you didn't listen to any of that?
Nope.
Cool.
Nope.
Okay, whatever.
Okay, so 12 seems like it goes with 11.
Yeah, no more travel events. I'm assuming that either that's to speed up the game
Mm.
or the players just didn't engage with the travel events.
See, my problem is, it's like if you don't want to mega dungeon every session, you should have the travel events then. Because to me, travel events like you got into your caravan, you went down the road, and you stumbled upon a random encounter.
Yeah,
Something to break the monotony of your fast traveling to the next town. At least that's how I'm interpreting it, which
that's
I
how
feel like travel events should be a thing.
I feel like travel events should be a thing, but think about this way. Think about the opposite side of the coin.
Hmm.
Why would the DM take away travel events?
Maybe well, the way you run it is travel events can also be our downtime,
Yeah.
which that removes all of the role playing that the DM was requesting earlier when it comes to social checks, but it also takes away just, the players just engaging with each other for the DM. Well, maybe they were starting to get a little too rowdy and not paying attention to the DM, so he's just like, no, we're not having anything that I can't control the run of.
Yeah.
Because I think it's for you, a lot of our downtime is off camera, like, hey, before next session, what did you want to do downtime? That's, if I'm understanding what it means by travel events, I think that's where travel events would go in.
Yeah. I'm thinking again, this is just either there were travel events that were just skipped,
Mm,
or the DM is tired of the time being wasted on travel events, so they just remove it.
mm.
That's my theory.
Awesome.
But travel events can be cool.
Yeah. I mean, hell, we did a high seas adventure. You imagine not having any travel events on the high seas?
Yeah, that would have been boring as
Oh,
shit.
God.
If you're late and don't have a good reason, your character's max HP will be halved for the session. I
Feels
get it.
extreme. I
It's
do
a
get it,
little it's a little extreme.
but it probably happens so often that they had to do something that seemed extreme.
Yeah.
And yeah, I do understand the whole being late is frustrating as heck, even outside of doing gaming. It's just
Yeah.
the fact that it's like people rely on you to show up at a certain time. And when you don't show up at that certain time, then people get a little frustrated with you because everyone else is there and you're taking away from their experience. Now,
Yeah.
the other thing that the DM could do is say, the game starts whether you're here or not at this time, and if you're not here, I start running the session. And if you're not here when the session starts, well, you're gonna have to start booking it to get catch up with your party.
Mm-hmm.
Unless your party was kind enough to drag your ass along. It's like, ooh, meat shield.
Yeah.
That's how you lost your half HP.
Yeah. No, I get that. That's actually a good idea. I might use that. 14. If you don't show up and don't have a good reason, there will be 2 stages. For the first time, you'll lose a significant source of your character's power. For the second time, you're just gonna be removed from the group.
Yeah, again, that seems extreme, but I think we've had to do that ourselves. Where we were starting to get to the point where, are you ever going to come into session? Or, oh, I slept. I overslept. I did this, and it's like, it's just,
Have we?
um, I don't want to name drop,
No, don't name drop. Just tell me if
but
we have, because I don't.
I I feel like, okay, we may not have dropped them from the current campaign, but I think there were a couple of times where we decided not to re-invite some people because they just stopped showing up.
Oh, okay. I get it.
There was a certain, oh no, he wasn't the bard. The other one, no, it was the bard.
Yeah, no, I get it. But
Yeah,
there was a good reason for that.
there was,
Yeah,
but
but
at the same
anyway.
time, it's like, yeah, no, if you're gonna not show up every single time, it's. But no, life happens. Life does happen, but I think that would fall under there's good reasons then.
Yeah.
Like, I know a lot of our sessions usually end up being on a holiday.
Yeah.
It's like, that's a good enough reason. I mean, if enough people are able to show up and they have no holiday plans, sure, we can have a lighthearted episode versus, our typical sessions, but no, again, those are good reasons. So, not a good reason is just like they just didn't show up that
I
day.
just couldn't be asked to show up.
Oh, I remember one now. They got too high and forgot what time
I remember.
it
Okay.
was.
Now I remember.
That was oh no, that'll
Yeah, no, let's not.
yeah.
No, but no, I get that.
You know which one I'm talking about now.
Yeah.
Because that one was also another one where
That one was fun though.
we had session, they would show up eventually because they were just high as fuck, and then eventually it's like, yeah, we're gonna have to.
Yeah. But I get it. Let's see. 15. If you get too intoxicated to play, I'll go home with no warning. If you get intoxicated while you're playing,
Sin, though.
yeah, if you're getting intoxicated while playing, I'm still gonna say, hell yeah, brother.
How in well, the thing is,
I mean, I'm drinking right now.
I was gonna say you drink, but you don't drink so much that you get incoherent. You get the giggles,
Yes, I do
but you
get the
don't.
giggles,
But
but
you don't get incoherent. Although it's kind of funny, depending on which alcohol you're on, we either have a good campaign or we have a, 5-star rating, challenge, hard mode, death match. Oh god, I'm trying to remember which one. I think it's Jinsen that you did, where like you were just like everything goes.
on Jensen, especially with Rapanathuk, I abused the absolute shit out of coup de grace.
Oh yeah.
It was just, oh, you're unconscious and right next to an enemy that's about to take their turn. Guess what? That enemy, full round action, coup de grace. Okay, you're dead.
And then
Next.
we had the commoner run.
The commoner one was fun
I
though.
forget if you were sober or not for that one.
I think that one I was surprisingly sober for.
Oh, okay.
No, I try not to get too drunk anymore.
Yeah.
The only time I drink in general is if I'm in a good mood
Yeah.
or I'm about to be in a good mood.
Yeah.
And if I don't have to work the next day. Although there are some times when I do sneak a drink on a night prior to work because I don't work during the day. I work during the night. So it's
Yeah.
not the next day that I work, it's the next night that I work. Therefore, it doesn't apply.
Shameless plug for the drinking stream of Fallout.
God, that was so terrible at the end. But anyway, no. I mean, I get this though, wasting time to have to tolerate the belligerence of a drunk or stoner,
Yeah.
and it wastes time. Don't get too intoxicated.
Yeah.
I at least maintain some semblance of sobriety, some semblance of
Yeah.
cohesion. But as I am right now, I am indulging a little bit, so yeah, I can't say too much about number 15. Number 16. If you take frequent breaks, I'm going home and my patience is limited. Again, that's just you don't want to keep holding the game up,
Yeah.
wasting time and whatnot.
And it's probably, again, connected to the previous one where if you drink too much, you have to remove it as much.
Yeah.
So they're probably constantly drinking and then releasing it, and it's like, okay. And it's, I mean, that's pretty straightforward.
Yeah.
Just, try, like, yeah, I understand if you, like, there's been times where I've had stomach issues, and it's like, I try my best to, like, stay with the conversation. I'm like, I'm sorry. It's like, it's at a point where I'll be right back.
Yeah. All right. Moving on. We have guidance, divination, owls, and whatever spells I deem unfit are banned.
That's not right.
Yeah, also owls.
Is that a spell?
I don't think it's a spell. Maybe it's a
Or is
maybe
it
it's a
just
familiar benefit or something.
Might be a familiar benefit.
I don't think there's a familiar benefit though from I don't get it.
You're also looking at Pathfinder, and do we know if that was the
Oh, that's true, but
wait, wasn't it owl totems maybe? Because that gave like strong wisdom.
no, I don't think so. Hold on.
Because isn't
Maybe
there's a totem that I think gives you.
is there a best? Oh, there's no bestiary on the front page. Oh well.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Anyways.
this I don't agree with this at all either.
I don't agree with this one. The only times that I think a spell is worth banning is just the fact that it doesn't fit the setting.
Yeah.
That would be the only time.
Like Raise Dead.
Yeah.
Raise Dead has no use in any setting whatsoever. Don't do it.
Moving on.
No. Raise Dead, not Animate Dead.
Oh.
Raise Dead is the resurrection spell.
Yeah, okay. I get you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Didn't you use Raise Dead to bring one of the Belmonts back? Because that's how you explain how the Josie's boyfriend, quote unquote, the guy that took her out on the date, that's how he came back, was because the people had money, so they brought him back with Raise Dead.
Yes. And in that campaign, had it gone on long enough, you guys would have also had Raise Dead at your access.
Yes, but you want to ban it.
Now,
Oh, okay.
that means that there's no Raise Dead for you or NPCs from here on out.
Mm.
That's it. Everyone dies. They die.
Mm-hmm. And come back as a frog.
Come back as a frog, yes. But no, I don't
That's
I don't get
guidance.
banned. Yeah, guidance is such a minor thing.
Like, guidance only gives you like a 1d4 boost to your like skill checks. It's not.
What I'm guessing
Hmm.
is that this DM played with a divination wizard, and one of the divination wizard's class features is that you get you roll dice at your daily preparations, and then at any time throughout the session or throughout the day, you can sub in any check with those dice.
Yeah, I remember Josie playing with the divination before.
Yeah, and I didn't ban that at all.
Oh,
I thought it was
kind of funny as hell. Or
Yeah, I thought it was
no,
cool.
That's a 14 instead.
Yeah, I thought it was cool. She really did use her pre-roll dice very well,
Yeah.
with giving you guys high rolls and giving me low rolls. I mean, that was
Yeah, this feels like the DM was trying to be not broken.
yeah, this is a little bit petty. Rule number 18. You get one chance at a skill check. Your party members won't get a chance to make the same check. Ensure that each other's characters execute their specialties.
Bullshit.
I can kind of get it, but I'm
Also,
gonna
one,
still.
this is not path, or this is at least not 2E because they don't have hero points. But there's also inspiration dies in 5E.
Where are you getting the inspiration?
Well, it says you get one chance at a skill check, which means you're not able to re-roll with the inspiration.
I think you are. I think they're saying more of you can't just keep
Oh, your
rolling.
whole party can check it. But here's the thing, players have different ways to look at the same situation.
Yeah.
Like, say, a perception check. I have a pair of eyes, you have a pair of eyes, they have a pair of eyes. Sometimes people have better eyes than others, so they can see the thing better, or maybe one day you're just having an off day and they can see it better than you.
Yeah, that's very fair. I also try to allow multiple different types of skill checks, but I will agree with the one chance thing. You can't just keep rolling.
Oh, yeah, per player should only be one, but they wrote it out as
Your party, yeah.
your party has one designated role.
Yeah, so again,
which is wrong because it should be each party member should have the right to check it because, they might have a better chance at looking at it.
Yeah, so I get it. At the same time, I side slightly against it.
Yeah.
Because
Plus,
I allow
with Pathfinder, for example, for 2E, I have that feat where quiet allies exist.
Oh yeah.
Well, what's the point of quiet allies if it's only one person would have to make the skill check anyways?
It is
So
one
if we're
person
all...
that makes the skill check.
Huh?
It is one person that makes a skill check.
That's what I mean. Why would that even exist if, not everyone could... If
Oh, I get what you're saying.
If everyone would be able to do the check, then it should be,
yeah,
rules as written.
But I think that's more of a situational case.
True. Especially if you're doing a stealth, it's like that's beneficial. Only one person has to do stealth. Yeah, let my plus 10 person do the stealth check. Oh, look, everyone gets in. Even the person with -2 mod over there.
Yeah, I'm assuming that it's
speed up.
A thing like a lockpick, for example, and you're trying to pick a lock, and if your thief fail or your rogue fails, then the DM's not going to allow, say, the fighter to also make the same check, because the fighter might get it.
Yeah. Or the fighter could just take the axe and just be like, I got another way to open the door.
Yeah. That's not a skill check. That's an attack roll.
I know.
19. Discussion of metagame details in-game will result in instant damage to the offending character.
But you want all of your players to talk about the thing ahead of time.
I think it's more of...
Yeah, I know. This is
character.
This monster. The HP is this.
Yeah.
It's weak to fire, so maybe you should be using this. I mean, I get it.
Yeah, I kind of agree with this one.
Like, I try to avoid metagaming, but there are so many times where it's like, my character is rolling dumber than me. I need to be able to explain what's going on. But I can't because my character can't word it. I mean, like today's session where it's like, I knew Hyenodon, I knew the information behind Hyenodons, and it's like, it's a doggo.
Yeah.
It's a big doggo. I'm just like, pack tactics, stuff like that. Like,
yeah.
Say shit. It's like, it's best if you separate them. No, let's get them all grouped together because that's fucking fantastic. Anyways.
Keeping each other accountable by the rules is encouraged. Holding me accountable to the rules is highly discouraged.
That's you by the book.
Me?
That's you, yeah.
How is it me?
Well, because you like us to make sure that we know how our spells work and how our moves work and stuff like that. In fact of it benefits us and we're doing the spells correctly and whatnot. You are the DM and it's like you have the rule of cool where, okay, well, this is how the spell's supposed to work, but I also don't want you guys to die 5 seconds into the dungeon, so we're just gonna... Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Never mind then. See if I knew what I was talking about.
But no, I mean, I thought you were saying that I can just be a dictator DM with,
No, no, I don't mean dictators.
Okay,
It's more of a, again, there have been times where even I've had to step in and it's like, hey, the DM says that this is okay to do, let's do it. I don't care if I'm trying to think of like a specific spell that we tried to cast the one time where it was like, it doesn't work that way, but in this situation, it sounds kind of dope as hell to do, so let's just go ahead and try to cast it that way. Well, the rules as written says the cast has to be within 5 minutes and it takes so many minutes to cast. It's like, no, no, shut up.
yeah,
Like, it's going to be cool. I think it was one of Colette's things.
it might have been.
I think it was like one of her like formulas, and it's like, yeah, the formula doesn't work that way. I'm like,
And I was like, hell yeah, brother, let's do it.
yeah.
But no,
Might have also been one of your drunk days. I don't know.
it might have been. But no, I will say that I do tend to go off the rules a little bit sometimes, especially if I get excited about new mechanics that I'm introducing,
Yeah.
or there is a mechanic in a fight
Yeah.
that isn't new, but that I really want to, abuse.
Mm.
Like the previous session that we had where I had the possum,
Mm.
and the possum, I almost took 3 reactions when you're only supposed to get one.
Mm. That's
And
another thing too. There's times where we just don't understand the rules, and you have two options. You can sit there for 20 minutes to scroll through Nethys, or you can just say, "Let's just continue going, and we'll figure out the rule after session."
that's my preferred route.
Yeah,
Is I prefer to just be like, you know what? Let's just keep rolling. We'll learn the rule later. Apply it to future sessions.
yeah,
But no, I as a DM, if I am trying to abuse the rules to the player's disadvantage, I do try to encourage you guys to hold me accountable to
yes,
that.
we have done that.
Yeah, which is good.
Unfortunately, like I said, with Elsa, Kieran's character, they held you accountable in the wrong way and double credit
Yeah,
themselves to
they
time
did hold.
4.
No, that was the only reason I allowed the reincarnation in the first place is because that was a very honorable
Yeah,
end of the bargain right there.
yeah.
I I offered to rescind the attack. They said no, let the attack go through, and their character died. I can't. I feel bad when that happens.
Yeah.
But no, I do try to, at least if I do break the rules, I try to do it to the player's benefit,
Yeah.
or to my benefit, because I like to see you guys entertained. You are to roll your dice onto the table within plain view of at least 2 players that are not socially aligned with you. If you fail to make a valid roll, you automatically fail the check. If you try to convince me you made a valid roll when you didn't, you critically fail.
That isn't an issue for us because we do have online, which allows us to just everyone can see your roll when it comes onto the
Mm-hmm.
computer, with the exception of Roll20 having the bullshit of, hey, I made the same roll like 4 or 5 times. Can I refresh and then make the roll?
Yeah, but you guys usually hold each other accountable.
Yeah, we do. And but I can see how that can be a problem in real life, especially when dice are like yay big. Which I think
Yeah.
after a while, if you have a specific player that always claims that they have a role that is not their role, like Sarah from Man Shorts, maybe you need to get one of those like big ass balls, the inflatable dice, and have them roll that instead, so everyone can see the number.
Yeah.
That's her name, right, Sarah?
Mm-hmm.
I think that's the character.
But yeah, that's just more of a trying to keep the table honest.
Yeah.
And I understand it completely, as I have had. Well, actually, no, I don't. I mean, I understand it. I've never had this happen to me, but I can understand why it would be
Yeah.
terrible to have it happen.
Yeah.
So I kind of, especially if 2 players that are not socially aligned with you, so you can have other people lie for you and say that you're,
Yeah.
yeah, no, I don't
Yeah.
like that at all.
Which, if you're in a campaign with somebody, you should probably be friends with everybody at that table, but I don't know maybe it is one of those campaigns where they just were like college roommates or something.
Maybe.
Yeah,
They were
who knows?
covering for each other in any
Yeah.
case. Instant death traps and mechanics will be coming into play.
Eh.
I don't often utilize instant death traps. I don't really like it unless I'm being absolutely sadistic, but I will give a content warning beforehand.
Yeah. Rocks fall, everybody dies. I fucking hate this campaign. Let's get out of this. Fuck this shit. I'm out.
No, that's not what I mean.
No, that's what that is, though.
No, that just means, oh, hey, you screwed up and you wanted a harder dungeon. Guess what? Here's a harder dungeon. Your character's dead. Deal with it.
Yeah.
I don't usually use instant death traps and mechanics unless we're playing a, again, like the Rapanathuk thing where
Well, the thing is, Rapanathuk isn't your design, though.
that is true.
That is somebody else's sadistic.
Tomb of Horrors.
Yeah. That's also not you.
That's true.
So I don't think Hell Shall has ever had an instant death trap.
No, Hellshell does not have instant death traps. We just have instant death. They are not traps. They are just terrible coincidences.
With really, really good dice rolls.
Yeah. But no, I could kind of agree that to this rule depending on the other mechanics that's built around it.
Again, as long as the DM, lays it out ahead of time saying, this is going to be happening.
They did.
But it's
right there.
Well, this was after how many sessions and him getting
that's true.
Flustered, and he basically broke the DM. It's like, yeah, no, this is ouch.
Yeah. Like I said, I mean, I would definitely do this type of shenanigan if it was a campaign where death is cheap.
Yeah.
And you're not going to lose your entire character. You just might lose, again, like the Dark Souls type thing.
Oh, God, are you going to put it in the Monster Hunter one?
No.
Okay.
Now, the Monster Hunter will purely be...
You said death is cheap.
Yeah, but we're still doing accidental deaths at the moment. RNG deaths, as I will call them.
Okay.
Number 23. I will not give you random magical items, and vendors will not stock them. They are meant to be rare and difficult to acquire, and I say to this
we
rule...
already had this one.
Yep,
well,
they
we
might be
cleared it with the loot one.
Yeah, they might be reiterating that. So I say to this rule, the only thing I need to really say is, hell yeah, brother.
Yeah.
I will say this: 4E, 4th edition D&D, and Pathfinder 2nd edition, the default rule set, they do expect you to obtain magical items in order to increase your power and keep you on par for your power curve.
4E also wanted to encourage Hasbro-ness of making sure you bought all these stuff for your minifigures and shit.
Unfortunately.
Yeah, so that was another reason why there was like loot galore. But no, we already discussed this.
Yeah.
I agree that magical items should not be available just given out willy-nilly unless you are doing extremely high magic campaign where basically everyone had a magical item in the like starting gear.
Yeah.
Like, no, it's like I don't think even Mavici would have that strong of magical gear.
No, they wouldn't.
Because that would ruin the whole house shell.
It would.
Yeah, so yeah.
I think the highest magical items amounts that I had
Zodiac Braves
is the Zodiac weapons, and those are extremely rare.
Well, yeah.
And they're extremely powerful. But
yeah. Yeah, and you have an extremely oh god, qualifications requirements.
Yes, prerequisites.
Which is like, oh, you ran into this weapon. It's cool. You can't wield it, but it's cool. You know where it's at for next time.
Yeah.
Which you won't be that character next time, so who fucking cares?
Yep. But moving on.
Yep.
24. Random encounters will be a lot more grounded.
I don't know what that means.
We've all seen the memes, okay? At least I have, where you see a sign that has, say, an alligator wearing a sombrero playing a banjo. And it says no swimming on it. And that's a chance for a random encounter right there. And that random encounter makes no sense within the rules of our world.
Mm,
So I think this DM again is telling the players that their random encounters will not be random,
okay.
chaotic random,
Okay.
more lawful random, if you will.
Okay, so like they have a random encounter table. Like I know there's one in the DMG, and if they just happen to run across like you ran into two hippogriffs. I don't have hippogriffs in my world, so we're gonna re-roll that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it probably
Or
is
two
more.
sharks when you're in the middle of a desert and they're not
Yeah,
sand sharks,
land sharks. There you go.
they're not land sharks, they're sea sharks.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean that makes sense. That's just like the DM probably has his own like rolls that they can make. If it's not what you want to have encounter, roll it again.
Yeah.
That's all you have to do.
Yeah.
If I mean, make a table ahead of time saying these would fit my world. Roll on that table.
Yeah.
Anyways.
I will disregard Reddit posts about rulings, and I get it. Because here's the thing.
Oh, you might as well just read the next two together.
Yeah, I will disregard other groups about rulings. That's the main thing. Number 25 and 26 are technically the same rule. Like they're the same rule.
Basically, the DM has their rules, and if you want to play by the other group's rules, be a part of the other group.
Yeah,
Like
I hate it.
You don't have to be in our campaign if you prefer how the other rules work.
Yeah, especially Reddits of all things.
Yeah.
Ugh.
But I will admit, I do sometimes go to Reddit because they are little cliff notes. But at the same time, you still do your own research. You don't just foolhardily believe in it.
Yeah. But no, I get it. It's my table, my rules.
Yeah.
Simple.
All right, 27.
Yeah. 27. Don't use a proxy to talk to me about my rules. Basically, don't go to someone else at the table and tell them to tell me about your complaints.
Yeah.
And that's a rule about keeping things honest and
Yeah. Hey, if you got something to say, say it. Don't just,
honest and open.
Yeah.
So I get that.
Yeah.
28. Be sure to review each other's notes in a timely and concise manner.
I understand, but there's also life that happens, and sometimes the only time you do have to review it is in session, which is why I always like when everyone shows up about half an hour before session starts. Because, like, okay, the game starts at this time, but let's get here early so that we can talk about it because we've devoted this time block to our game.
Yeah.
So this is when we could talk about it. And also time afterwards devoted for, hey, we just leveled up. I don't understand how to update my character. So maybe we should also stay in the call a little bit longer to say, hey, what are we doing as a group? Like, so we can synergize the group a little bit better. But
Yeah.
there are, I know it's like, for me, example, it's like the reason why I'm not running any campaigns is because the only time I really had a chance to build a world, well, now I could probably do it because I have more free time, but that's another story, is the fact that when I decided, yes, I want to run a campaign, it ended up the only time I ever had was the 2 hours of the campaign day.
Yeah.
And I just, like, are you kidding me? Like, I have these plans. I want to make the map. I want to do this. I want to do that. And, you have it running in the back of your head, but you can't always have a notebook on you.
No.
But, so, again, if you want to talk to other players about a thing, maybe you should set up a time slot and say the game itself starts at this time. If you want to talk about what happened in the last session, come in like 15 minutes early so you can actually sit down, talk about it, see your game plan. Like if you session left on a cliffhanger.
Yeah.
Maybe you want to say, hey, what's our group strategy for dealing with the boss?
Yeah.
But yeah.
Even in session, just take like 3 or 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Just skim someone's notes.
I mean, that's hell, we don't even really go over each other's notes. We kind of just have a recap of last session in case you may have missed a key point.
Yeah.
Maybe be aware that this happened or, whatever.
Yeah. Number 29. We are here to have fun. Absolutely.
Yeah. And if you're not having fun, I mean, you really need to look at and ask yourself, why am I not having fun?
No.
And work with your GM as Why?
Having no tabletop RPG sessions is way better than having bad tabletop RPG sessions.
Yes. Especially if it's a very toxic group.
Yeah.
That is definitely one I can agree to.
Number 30. We'll eat at a precise time and not during session.
Um, I snack. I'm a
Snacking,
snacker.
I think, is fine, but I think they mean I
Like
think
an
they mean
actual dinner?
sitting down and actually eating a meal.
Yeah, there's also times where you and I are still working on dinner because I just lost time management in terms of, you put something in the oven, it's supposed to take only 20 minutes of the oven, and you look and it needs another
Yeah,
10.
and we do
So I'm
try
I
to.
am I am guilty of that, but at the same time, it's like I try my best to try to at least be somewhat nearly done on dinner before
Yeah,
we start.
this is more about maintaining the flow of the session.
Mm. Also, you don't have your cursor visible in the stream,
Oh, I
so
don't care.
okay. You're like pointing with the cursor, and I'm like,
I'm not pointing. I'm just moving it.
okay, gotcha.
I'm just moving it out of habit.
Okay. Anyways,
But yeah, no, this is just all about maintaining the flow.
yeah.
Number
Like I said,
31.
I know
Oh,
we're guilty of it. That's the only thing.
yeah, we try not to be though.
Try not to be.
31. Don't put food or drinks near my D&D equipment. Absolutely. That is a core rulebook that costs $40.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what happens when a soda gets spilled on that core rulebook? The pages stick together.
Mm-hmm.
You can't open them. You can't view some of the rules. Guess what? That's it. You don't know the rules anymore. It's a Wild West.
I feel if you need to have food or drinks at your table, one, the container needs to be sealed, like
Yeah.
a bottle drink or a sip cup or something like that. And when it comes to food, try to limit. Maybe the host should pick what kind of snack should be at the table, so that it's not kinds that would get your books sticky. Like, don't put gummies out. Don't put just pretzels that don't have that much salt on them or something.
Yeah.
But again, we don't really have in-person sessions, so it's kind of hard to really determine this. Plus, again, it's like I can imagine your character sheet. If you get a drink on your character sheet and everything else,
Yeah, that's it. That's game over.
yeah, coasters would be good. Just kind of, yeah.
Yeah. That one's just totally understandable.
Mm-hmm.
32. I will arbitrate out of character arguments. I get it. As a game master, you are an arbiter of some sort. So, if two people do have a dispute, you, as the game master and possibly the owner of the venue in which you are gaming,
Yeah.
should have final say over the argument.
Yeah.
That just
Basically,
makes
have a
sense.
gavel and just be like, "Okay, guys, shut the fuck up and let's just continue playing. Don't worry about whatever the hell's going on.
Yeah.
And deal with it after session, depending on what the argument's about."
Yeah.
Yeah, that next one is fair.
This next one is extremely fair. Number 33. We are not on Critical Role.
I am not Matt Mercer. Do not expect me to be Matt Mercer. Do not expect me to be any of the really cool, DMs that you see. I am not Brennan Lee Mulligan. I am not. I forget the girl's name with the blue hair, but that's the thing. It's like, they are. Well, I don't want to say they're paid DMs, but I
They
think
are paid, though.
It's like they have the experience to justify their entertainment and stuff, and their videos are also sometimes edited to make more fun.
Yeah.
And I mean, I even Heroes and Halfwits, like that is actually more accurate on how actual DMs go, and even then it's kind of
Amateurish.
yeah.
That's fine. When you go to a table, you're most likely going to be playing with amateurs.
Yeah.
Even if the DM is paid to be a DM, odds are that they are not at the level of Matt Mercer or Brennan Lee Mulligan.
Yeah. Oh, Christopher.
Chris Perkins?
Yeah.
No one's on the level of Chris Perkins.
Exactly. I was gonna say, what's the one that
He's
you like to?
he's part of the team.
Yeah.
Like he's part of he's a wizard of the coast.
Yeah.
But no, I will say that group that I was soured on, they were all fans of Critical Role, and they
Yeah.
were verbal about it, and Yeah, I do not want to watch Critical Role simply because of the fan base.
And that's basically how I feel too. It's like it was kind of weird. It's like Critical Role both made D&D more in the light for a lot of people, but it also kind of like soured the community at the same time because everyone thinks that that's how D&D is going to be. It's like that's not realistic.
It's not, no.
I mean, good on you if you ever find somebody that can be even remotely close, but that's don't don't have your expectations that
Yeah.
high.
Yeah, no. Even me. I have been running games for over 10 it's about
15?
10, 12 years now. I am not to Matt Mercer's level of
No.
game mastering. And even Matt Mercer himself makes mistakes
Yeah.
on his games. So, you know, kind of manage your own expectations, especially if I lay out different expectations. Don't assume that I'm going to magically adjust to your expectations.
Off
That's
topic, I do kind of want to watch Dimension 20 just to see how he runs. But anyways,
we could try to watch Dimension 20.
yeah.
I might be up for it. I haven't had any negative problems with Dimension 20 fans, so I mean,
Mm.
I'm fine with that. Number 34. I'm updating the status condition of all characters. Now, when this was originally put,
Mm.
I guess the DM had forgotten to make players and characters suffer the status conditions that they were supposed to suffer and should have been suffering from for a while.
Oh,
So
okay.
this rule was more of a I'm going to just, make it so that the game is accurate, which is fair.
Oh, okay. It's one of those campaigns where it was, say, somebody chopped off your arm. Like, no amount of cure wounds is going to fix your arm being chopped off, so you still have that suffering.
Yeah.
I
We
think
were just
it's,
ignoring it for, however many sessions, but
yeah,
starting from this point forward, you're not you have one arm.
yeah.
35. If you don't bring your character sheet, you don't play. We play mostly online, so
Yeah.
that's not really a terrible problem. I can see it. I mean, it definitely would be a big problem for in-person play, but
Yeah.
simple solution, have two copies of your character sheet. One for you, one for your DM.
Yeah. And if you don't remember to update your character when the DM, it's like, hey, you leveled up, here's your character sheets again, so you can update both your copy and the DM's copy. You just deal with a level 1 character.
Yeah,
Yeah.
or level whatever, yeah.
Or level whatever. And I mean, it's kind of funny. It's like there are so many options to have character sheets on your phone
Yeah,
that you could just have your phone as a character sheet.
there's a bunch of apps.
Path Builder. There's well,
There's a terrible one for D&D
I was gonna say there's
because
one for 5e. Myth Weavers. You can just have Myth
Myth
Weavers.
Weavers is a very good one.
Hell, I think all the systems for the most part are on that one.
They're missing quite a
Most,
few, but most
well, the
systems
most
are on there.
major of the major,
Yeah.
few.
But yeah, no, there are plenty of options. This one is, I mean, I get it as a DM.
Yeah. At the same time, you can easily just put it
And
on your phone if you have a problem of forgetting your papers.
yeah, this one again, this number 35 is very much a player. There's so many ways to solve it that
Yeah.
it should not be an issue.
Right.
36. If you don't bring dice, borrow some. That's yeah.
That's straightforward.
You need dice to play
Yeah.
unless you're playing
Again,
something like Dread.
there are apps on your phone. You can Google
Yeah.
roll certain dice. So just
Yeah, you can Google a random number generator
yeah.
and use that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there's so many solutions to bringing the dice that it's an easy solution. There's easy solves.
Yeah.
Number 37. I am your game master, not your enemy. Hallelujah and hell yeah, brother.
Yeah.
Yes, I am. Even when I, as the game master, try to play up being an enemy, I am, at the end of the day, at the end of the session, I am not the enemy. I just act like it. Because oftentimes, if I'm going to go into a campaign where I'm acting like the enemy, it's supposed to be a more comedic.
Mm.
And there's a purpose behind me acting like an enemy, like in Rappanathok.
Yeah. and
Where,
yet,
again, I'm slaughtering.
And yet, Orcus, TV executive Orcus.
Yeah, yeah, Orcus the network executive was still kind of an enemy.
Yeah, but he was a fun enemy.
He was a fun enemy. See, that's the thing. If you're gonna be a game master and play the enemy, at least make him fun.
Mm.
And yeah, but no, your game master should not be your enemy. And if they are, don't go to that group. Number 38. If you disrespect me out of game for something that happened in game, you will be removed from the group.
Yeah, if you're toxic, get out.
Yeah, that's it.
Simple as that.
I understand it. 39. You'll tell me which spells and cantrips you prepared during each in-game day. Otherwise, you won't be allowed to use any of them.
That's a little extreme, but
It's a little extreme, but again, honesty.
I can get it.
Again,
Especially when you didn't plan on being near water. Oh, I totally prepared water bubble. Did you though?
did you?
You always have water bubble. Water bubble. Or was it air bubble?
Air bubble.
Air bladder, something like that.
Air bubble.
It's like, yeah, sure. We were in a desert last session and we just came up to this. You really prepared water bubble.
Yeah, I totally did.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no. So I get it. At the same time, have been instances where it's like, I think I was kind enough to be like, look, it is a spell you can have prepared. We didn't know this was going to happen. So as long as you're only casting the 4 spells, or whatever you had in your slot at the time, like, yeah, you can go ahead and prepare that spell and we can just, say that you did, or,
Yeah.
Like you did have down, or, a better example, there was downtime where you could have prepared new spells because it's like a new day
Yeah.
or something in like mid session. So you could.
That's why they say during each in-game day.
Yeah.
But, I mean, that's why I always take, on my wizards, the spell substitution thesis in Pathfinder 2nd edition, because all I need is 10 minutes to switch my spells around. You see.
Yeah, but now
You gotta find a way to skirt
game
around the
system.
rules. Yeah.
Game the system. Yeah, alright.
I'm a munchkin. If you don't mark off, number 40, if you don't mark off your spell slots, whether on your sheet or verbally, your character will suffer half of their maximum hit points and damage, their spell will fail, and they'll be unable to cast spells for the rest of the day.
That is extreme.
Extreme, but again, keeping things honest, especially if you as a game master have designed the session with a certain amount of with the intent to make the players expend a certain number of resources.
Oh yeah, like a Zerg rush.
Like a Zerg rush, or maybe just a big solo boss. And so you want your players to only expend so many resources, but then they suddenly have extra resources?
Yeah.
Kind of not fair.
I don't think we've ever had encounters of that issue, because I think most of the time, and I do want to say most of the time, I think there have been exceptions, where we always have a long rest, or you will verbally say, hey, anytime that we're done with an encounter, just assume that you've had time to replenish, unless I've said otherwise.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
No, I kind of get this one, and this is more of this reeks of, hey, my players have been lying to me, and I've had enough.
Although, that being said, I never keep track of rations after a while, because I always assume that we've eaten something.
Yeah. Number 41, you break it, you buy it.
That should have been closer to the one where the no food or drinks near my
Yeah,
equipment.
it should have been. And this is understandable. It's reasonable. I find no other... I don't have any other...
Depending on how you broke it, you're out of the group, too.
Yeah.
Because, again, the equipment isn't cheap. So depending on how you broke it, it's like, oh, well, I was just goofing around. It's like, okay, well, there's a certain line where it's like, yes, you're going to be required to buy it no matter what. But then at what point do you say, oh, say they were throwing the minifigures around as a toy.
Yeah, that's...
And then they broke that. It's like, yeah, but you were goofing off with the minifigures, so you can
get out.
Get out. It's like, these are, yeah, they look like figurines. Yeah, you're attacking them, quote unquote, but don't use your minifig as a hammer on the big boss. Like, don't, like,
yeah,
don't break it.
Yeah. Number 42. If you complain about my choice of music, suggest alternatives.
Yeah.
That one's fair.
I mean, you've only just started using music a little heavier in your thing.
That's because Foundry actually lets me use my own files. So if I get an MP3 of a music from somewhere,
Mm.
I can go into software like Audacity or OpenShot. I
Mm.
can manually extend the audio to go to like half-hour lengths,
Yeah. My own.
and because I tried to do that with Roll20,
Yeah.
but Roll20 kept saying the files were too big. I don't have that problem with Foundry. That's why I'm now using all the music that I've wanted to use for so long, but I couldn't because of limitations.
Separate is I have sound files on my old computer that I could have sent you over because they're like dungeon crawler music. That would have been really nice for you.
Oh, okay.
But oh, and royalty free dungeon music too.
Oh yeah, I don't have
Got that.
that. That's
Yeah, that's my concern about playing music is because I know where some of your music is coming from, and I'm like, how long before you start getting like red flagged on YouTube because you're using certain
as long as
sound
I don't try to
files?
monetize it, I think I should be fine.
Yeah, true. I mean, I'm constantly getting strikes over there on Twitch now, so I'm like, yeah, no, that's another
Yeah, that's
topic.
another issue.
Like I'm getting too off topic.
Number 43, I will disregard your feelings about my rulings. That's a
There,
little harsh.
yeah, but at the same time, there have been like 10 of these
Yeah,
where it's like my rules, my words, my rules, my rules. It's like
yeah.
okay, we get it. They weren't listening to how you were ruling stuff, but there's this list could have been a lot shorter because they just kept, you know, saying that rules.
Yeah. Number 44, these are not threats, these are promises.
That again, that shouldn't. That's getting a little extreme.
Yeah,
But at
but
the
I
same
get
time,
it.
they broke their DM, so it kind of
When you kick the dog will bite back, and that's what is happening with this DM. This is not a DM on a power trip.
no.
Knowing the backstory behind this, and even if I didn't know the backstory behind this, I would not assume this is a person on a power trip.
Yeah.
I would assume that this is a DM that has had enough.
Like I remember when you first heard about this story, I think one of the first things that came out of your mouth was something along the lines of, "Who hurt you?"
Yeah, that was it. It was really a who hurt you. This is a who hurt you list, and we know who hurt this DM.
Yeah. At least a few of the players, anyways.
At least one of them.
Yeah.
But it is terrible that a DM would have to resort to these rules. No one should have to resort to this long list of rules to have fun in a game. But yeah, that's our opinions on it, and I'm glad
Yeah.
I had you here with me to hold me accountable to any stories I may have told.
Yeah.
I have been Sinashi.
And I've been GrannyKA.
Hope you guys have fun in any of your future tabletop role playing games, and I hope you have a nice day.